right, we're going to call this session of the NREVSD Exempted Village School District back in the regular session. And the first item is the approval of the agenda. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the agenda as presented.
Also move. Second.
Okay. Mr. Wooten with Mr. Wells. Roll call.
Ms. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Wooten?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes. All right. Recognition and awards.
We'll start with Mr. Roach tonight. If he would do our Leading Lion Award.
Absolutely. That was kind of like icing an NFL kicker. I love giving out awards. Good evening. Tonight I am proud to recognize two outstanding fourth graders from Locust Corner Elementary for the Leading Lion Award, Reese Dryden and Noah Nave. Come on up. So back in September, Reese and Remy, or Noah, showed a remarkable initiative by coming to me with an idea. They wanted to start a kindness club, and they took it upon themselves to find an advisor. Mrs. Davis graciously agreed to sponsor their vision. So pass along how much we appreciate Mrs. Davis. Okay. Their goal was simple but powerful: to start a movement of kindness at Locust Corner. Does that sound about right? Okay. The Kindness Club now meets monthly with Mrs. Davis and is growing slowly but surely as more students are inspired to join their mission. Reese and Noah come to each meeting full of enthusiasm, creativity, and a genuine desire to make our school a place where everyone feels loved and included. Reese and Noah are true leaders. They're kind, courageous, and full of heart, and I have no doubt will continue to make a positive difference for years to come. So I'm going to present these two awards to you. This one is yours, and this one is yours. Okay. And would you guys mind taking a picture with us real quick? Okay, and we can take a picture with the board members, and then I'll let you guys go. So, if everybody can give them a big round of applause. Come on, girls.
Mom, Dad, parents,
Yes, and parents too. Yeah.
And Miss Davis? Miss Davis?
Is Miss Davis here?
She's not here?
She's is she here? We have the rest of her family. I read that lady. You got
Parents? Mom and Dad? That's all right.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
all right. Great. Thank
So this evening I have the pleasure of presenting our Employees of the Month. One of the things that the board asks that we do is, while it's nice to go out and recognize them as a team, the Board of Education would also like to recognize our Employees of the Month. So this month we had 2 Employees of the Month. We do 1 certified, 1 classified. And what's nice about that is that our Employees of the Month are not nominated by the central office team, they are nominated by their peers. The greatest accomplishment that you can get as a coworker is to be recognized by your peers. So not with us tonight is Nicole Mueller. Nicole is our middle school teacher this month. She teaches social studies at New Richmond Middle School. She began the school year this year by reimagining the student council, introducing class presidents and class representatives. Within days, the halls lit up with campaign posters and students began creating videos to promote their candidacy. Her creative ways of involving students outside of her instructional time, combined with the creation of a platform allowing students to share their voice and make her more than deserving of this award. So if we could give her a round of applause. So with us tonight is our classified employee of the month, Donald Gibson Jr., also just Junior. Don comes to work every day with a smile on his face. Usually he's telling a joke of some kind, ready to work. He is a pleasure to be around. He makes work more enjoyable and fun to be with his personality. He's very versatile and also admirable. On any given day, he could be driving a bus or working as a mechanic, sometimes taking on additional work, like driving the van trailer, to help his coworkers and the district. His willingness to assist, his dedication, and his caring attitude towards our kids make him an excellent employee of the month. Don Gibson Jr. Oh, solo.
Speech.
I'm just letting
A joke, you gotta tell us a joke.
We should just show his picture from the Halloween.
3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Yes.
Did you drive today?
Yeah, I drove this evening. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
So tonight we're gonna do a little shifting here. Our athletic director has his conference in Columbus this evening, and our SBAAC Coach of the Year, Mrs. Flam, could not be here, so Mr. Shanklin is going to put on his old hat of a sports reporter and take care of honoring our girls varsity tennis team.
So could the girls varsity tennis team come up and please line up over here because that's where the camera's facing. I'll put you down without seeing all of you on there. We'll find out later. So as Mr. Daniel said, I have the honor of pinch hitting here tonight to congratulate these wonderful ladies for their achievements this year. This team, and step forward when I say your name, is made up of Emily Redmond, Peyton Molendick, Maddie Steelman, Cassidy Crone, Cadence Roberts, Eleanor Conrad, Morgan Catron, and Yara Hersler. This past fall, these ladies completed a truly historic season, finishing the year unbeaten with a perfect 15-0 record. They captured both the SBAAC Conference Championship and the League Tournament title, and had 7 different players earn their #1 seed heading into the tournament. They also won the Coaches Classic, and 7 of them were named to the All-Conference team. At the district tournament, both first and second doubles advanced to the quarterfinals, and for the first time in school history, New Richmond had a state qualifier, as Yara, who finished among the top 8 among everyone in the state for Division II. She also earned second-team All-Ohio honors. Additionally, she, Cadence, and Cassidy received the Greater Cincinnati Tennis Coaches Association honorable mention recognition. It was an unforgettable season defined by teamwork, excellence, and history-making achievements. So congratulations, all of you. These to hand out to all of you. Cadence. Emily. Right here. Okay. Peyton. Eleanor. Morgan. Madison. And who did I miss? Cassidy. Okay. I think I was grabbing the wrong one. It's over there on the desk. I'll get it to you. Yep. Picture. You don't need me for it.
You want to put your sign up?
Oh my God.
Who said, oh my gosh? They said that.
I spent a lot of time into this.
Yeah.
Darn right.
Yep. Three, 2, 1. Thank you.
Nice job, lady.
Dave had a steel guy, we had it powder coated, and then I had a final.
I would like to invite up Mr. Lewin. And he had two state qualifiers, Riley Davis and Braden Hatfield. So if you join Mr. Lewin up at the podium.
A couple things about these two young adults and great athletes. Oh, I don't want to be. I feel like I'm being surrounded there. These two cross-country runners made to the state finals this year. Riley's returning to the state. They're outstanding runners. Riley and Braden both have been nominated for the Inquirer Runner of the Week during the season. Some things. They were first team All-Stars as well, and regional qualifiers, of course, went on to state. Just two awesome athletes, and Riley's a senior. She's also been a state qualifier and runner for track as well. Braden's just a sophomore, so we're looking forward to getting him back up there in the future. I wasn't really prepared to say a whole lot because I thought I was presenting something more than talking, but so, Riley and Braden.
Parents, come on up as well, parents.
They're don't like us.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
One more. You have to get ours out.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Congratulations. Nice job.
You know, he's getting close. Yeah.
You want to tell them that they welcome to stay, but they don't want
You're welcome to stay, but you do not have to stay.
So we'll give you a chance to exit stage left.
Unless you need community hours.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
Are you staying?
All right, superintendent's report.
Mr. Garth, will you be presenting for me, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. So this evening, prepared a few remarks based on some follow-up assignments from our open board discussion last month. So clearly, as we've talked about, recognizing both staff and students are at the core of what we do. So this evening, as you just heard and saw, we're able to do our Employees of the Month, our Beth Webster Leading Lions, obviously our successful fall athletes. As we transition into the month of November, I did think it was important for us to highlight the Veterans Day recognition that does happen around the district. Locust Corner does a reverse parade every year, but unfortunately due to the way the weather was on Friday, they were not able to do that. So they have donated all their cards and materials to the local VFW. Tomorrow, Monroe Elementary will host at 9:30 a.m. their breakfast and celebration, as well as Mr. Lewin, who is here tonight, coordinates the New Richmond Middle School, which will happen during the last bell tomorrow. And then at the high school, Mr. Mahan does a 4-year rotation. So this year it's a video presentation, and then our students take the citizenship test. He does a 4-year rotation that even includes some years bringing the entire museum up to the school for the students to see it. So around the district tomorrow and last week, there was the opportunity to recognize our veterans for their sacrifices and their service. Clearly, we had some election results. It is a year where we had 3 board seats up for election. Running for public office requires a significant amount of work and commitment, and I say running in the social media era is very difficult. There were 5 individuals who put their names forward to work on behalf of the school district. Those election results in order are Jonathan Zimmerman, Amy Story, and Mindy Grazier, who will join the board in January to start their 4-year term. The levy election results for our 1.25% earned income tax showed the issue failed by a margin of 33% for and 66% against. I just want to say that we did have our introductory meeting with our precautionary fiscal plan that must be submitted by December 21st. So we will continue to work on that, and Mr. Shanklin will share later on during our communications report some of the work that we plan on doing to engage our community both through a survey and through some meetings in each of our school sites. At the last meeting during the board discussion, there were 3 things that the board asked that we take a look at. One of those was Mr. Duvall wanted to know about the signs at both ends of the street down in the village. 52, almost said 50, so I had to stop myself. 52, that have our champions, neither the village nor the district owns those signs. And there may not be the ability to even put signs up. So we could be looking at putting state champion signs maybe up by the school. So we did meet with Catherine Bailey, President Zimmerman and I. We're gonna look at maybe some slider signs, but there is some pushback just because of ODOT and might not be able to put signs up. So if they are altered or changed, they might be yanked out altogether. So we'll look for something to do either here on campus or maybe some other prominent spot that doesn't require the permission of the Ohio Department of Transportation. Second was looking at pay to play. Throughout our earned income tax community meetings, we had heard that the district, it puts a significant amount of money inside of our sports program, our athletic costs. We've done some work here. Our total costs out of our budget is just about $400,000. So the coaching costs, those are the supplementals that we pay to our coaches to coach our children. Those are about $284,000. Keeping in mind, a study was done a few years ago, we are still significantly behind our peers in what we compensate our coaches. Our transportation costs are just under $90,000. I will tell you that's low for the amount of movement we do for our children. I think that also comes because we own our own buses. So our overtime, our mileage, and our fuel, there's a trip cost, there's a fuel cost, and there's the overtime that's associated with that. And then our gate workers, our concessions and site managers, those are the people that you need to run an effective event. And then we only have one athletic director, and we pay a supplemental 3 times, 1 per season, for a supplemental AD. So our total costs all in are $398,455. That does include the fringes. Those are the Medicare, the retirement, and the things that you have to pay. Safety services are not included in the expenses. Game officials not included in the expenses. And annual increases match the NRTO agreement. Our teachers agreement says what we need to compensate our coaches. The reason we didn't put safety services and game officials in there is it's hard to, we don't have a way at the moment of capturing those, and we believe those are offset by our concessions. So I think we didn't capture concessions, so we didn't capture our safety services and game officials. So our revenue, what do we take in? So we take in, we had 762 participants last year. So that's the number of student athletes across the program 7 through 12. Pay to play fees collected just over $91,000. Gate revenues from events just over $85,000. We did generate $177,704.25 to offset that cost. Keeping in mind, 762 participants. So we do have a cap. Our pay-to-play structure at the moment looks at $125 with a $300 family cap at the middle school, $175 with a $300 family cap at the high school. So again, total cost to run the program, $398. Revenue generated, $177. The district's loss is $220,000 on a how many $million budget?
Just under 28.
Just under $28 million. So again, $400,000 to run the program, $220,000 loss on a $28 million budget. just trying to illustrate that we're not, losing a ton of money, and it's not even a significant amount on a $28 million budget. So I've developed, based on our last meeting, some projections. These would be looking forward at the 26-27 school year. The board has approved the fees for 25-26. Total costs, again, minus the gate revenue, current participation break even is $312. So if you look at option 1, 762 participants at $300 per sport, no cap. We're underwater about 83,000. If you go up to 375, based on our current participants, you're underwater 26,000. And $410 per sport, no cap, assuming 762 participants, is really the break even. So those are just some figures there that we started to play with based on closing that gap that we shared earlier. You could look at additional revenue generation. So one more, I think, forward. There you go. Some other ways to generate revenue, based on the last slide, is you remove the family cap, raise fees and remove the family cap. We could look at one-way transportation within 25 miles. We've gotten some feedback from some of our coaches that oftentimes there might be 3 or 4 kids and the driver coming back. So maybe going one way within 25 miles. Sell some sponsorship to offset pay-to-play fees. Not popular, but we do not charge senior citizens. That's gate revenue that we give up each game that we have. And then, we do realize that 762 number could fall, especially when you're charging, if you're a multi-student family, a multi-sport family, this can add up pretty quickly. So coordinating with our booster groups for partial or full scholarships. But, a couple things that we wanted to debunk is, number one, the cost to running the program is just under $400,000, and there are ways for us to recoup some of our loss, but it will be looking at transportation differently, and it will be looking at increasing pay to play. What questions have I generated from the board?
You answered, I think, our questions. Yeah, I think the breakdown's good. The options are clear, and we just have to get feedback from the community and listen to what they think.
But again, it's still not moving the needle, though. You know what I mean? It's still not. You're taking away what many would consider a luxury. Really for no net benefit, really, from a cost standpoint. You know what I mean? I say luxury in the sense of I'm a big believer in sports and keep kids off the street.
One single activity, whether it's sports or a co-curricular inside the building, like a yearbook, or participating in a drama production, increases your success rate inside of school. I do think it's important to note that when we do the fiscal plan, they do ask districts to look at generating revenue. And usually when you look at some of these auditor of state reports from districts that have had them, they typically will go after your pay to participate first, because those are seen as outside of the classroom experience.
And just to offer up in terms of transparency, there are things like uniforms and equipment costs that the sports teams themselves raise money, and that we all know as parents it comes right back out of the parents' pockets. So I don't want anybody to think we're trying to hold back on where there are expenses. It's just honestly that the district doesn't incur all of those.
So that will be part of the discussions that we have when we go out and talk in the 3 community meetings. But again, based on board discussion, we wanted to quickly pull together what it costs us, and then 2, I do want to reiterate that in the last study, we still lag our peers in what we pay our coaches, and it is at times very difficult. We are lucky that we have a lot of community members who sacrifice, and a lot of teachers who step up to fill these roles, because without them, our students wouldn't have the programs. Alright, the other discussion that we had is, the board charged me with looking at our public school works, our public school data, that's our behavior system. So we wanted to compare Q1 '24 versus Q1 '25. So we have what's called Stay Safe, Speak Up. That is our anonymous reporting. It can be done either through the website or through a telephone number. That is on our homepage of our website. This year, up until the end of the first quarter, so I did all this report is done to capture up until October 19th. So we had 26 calls into the Stay Safe Speak Up hotline and online reports in 2024 and 12 in 2025. The goldenrod is 2024, the blue line is 2025. As you can see, the other is our largest, and those were 4 separate transportation concerns. So that one of them was the light was shining in the wrong area, like it was shining up. So one of those was students reporting some misbehavior on the bus. But as you can see, we do see a 53% decrease in our Stay Safe, Speak Up. We do know that our middle and high does a good job about the hotline, so we need to make sure our elementaries are doing the same. Now this is looking at all of the behavior reports across the grade levels. So again, gold is last year, blue is this year. One of the things that we keep hearing is the middle school, the middle school, the middle school. Well, as you can see here, compared to grades 2 and 3 and 5 and 10, our middle school is on par or doing better. So again, some changes there. Overall reduction reports, 31%. Most significant drops occurred in grades 7 through 9, where reports fell by nearly half or more. And we do see some increases in grades 2, 3, and 5. So we will look at some targeted behavior review in our positive behavior intervention supports. So again, we call these tier 1 behaviors. Those are things that are in the classroom. So disrespect, insolence, rudeness, inappropriate or abusive language, those are most likely to occur inside of the classroom. Not saying it doesn't happen in the hall, the bus, or in the cafeteria, but you can again see that in most categories, we are down, and we're seeing a 28% reduction. And we're seeing that the largest declines in disruption, defiance, and tobacco-related incidences. You'll see respectful and integrity down there. Those are positive behavior reports. Those are when you recognize a student for doing something good. So we're not recognizing those behaviors at the same level as we did last year. We know that while we are monitoring and issuing consequences for those students not meeting our code of conduct, that we also need to make sure that we are recognizing our students who are making right choices. And then finally, a little side-by-side here. This is actually a little more breakout of the category. Again, you'll see just 773 reports last year, 557. One of the things we want to do was increase transparency in what we are reporting, so we will do this quarterly. And we are working to make sure our staff reviews this inside of their positive behavior intervention supports and as part of their data meetings. Data isn't just academic performance, it's also behavior and expectations inside of each of the 4 sites. Top of line data, we see reductions, category highlights, declines in disruption, defiance, and tobacco related. We see a decline in our Stay Safe, Speak Up. We talked about our grade level trends, our positive climate indicators, both decline in both offenses and anonymous reports signal stronger student engagement. And we're going to make some significant investments in the middle school that we'll be sharing with our middle school families. We're going to be partnering. Our students are going to go off-site in December in grades 6, 7, and 8. And the district is going to invest some money in retooling the positive behavior intervention supports. We're going to rebuild that from the ground up beginning in January. So been working with NRTO, Ali Ball, and Brad Hatfield as part of our monthly meeting. We were able to repurpose some wellness dollars, which student wellness and staff wellness fits into positive behavior intervention supports. And we will be inviting students and few select parents to be part of the committee that will start working in January. So that will be a building level total retool, looking at tier 1, which are those things that teachers manage in the classroom, and then tier 2, when a student looks like they're struggling a little more, but there's a plan in place, and then tier 3, when you've not mastered that tier 2 plan, the students that have the most needs. And that could be mentoring, that could be check in, check out, that could be a behavior sheet, not flipping colors, it's 2025, but it's very individualized, and it's a plan that we create with parents, with staff, and with administrators. So that is our quarter 1, whatever was inputted in the system, that is our readout from our quarter 1 discipline. And we will bring to you quarter 2 in January. Have I generated any questions there?
Just for clarity to the public, anybody can call the hotline. It does not have to be a student or an employee in this district. So if there's a concern or you're hearing something from another student that perhaps isn't your child, you still can report that to the hotline.
And I would say it's anonymous. That's important. And the more details you can give us anonymously, the easier it is. It's sometimes some of the reports, there's no way to even dig in. Time, place, date, bus. The more we can, the more details will help us. They're just sometimes they're so vague that we close them out. So the more detail anonymously that you can give us, the better. It helps us zero in on the location, the time, the date, etc. That is all that I have as part of my superintendent's report and as part of our follow-up from board discussion last month.
All right, next on the agenda is public participation, and Mr. David Roberts is here for the presentation.
How we doing tonight?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. What I'm passing out here is hopefully a little bit of relief. It's not much that we in Chad Blackburn can do for the community. The tennis team drove this idea of lack of funds with just the tennis team for uniforms and stuff like that. But before even the levy, the disappointment would happen with the levy, we've been planning this for about a year to 2 years, trying to get everything just to where we need it. And right now it's a perfect time. Car show that they used to have here, from my understanding, 25, 30 years ago, they used to have it on this premises. I'm very knowledgeable on car shows, participating in them and running them. And what we're presenting to you is a need for sports and organizations. It won't be set and spread across the board. Each year, depending on the need of money, this will go to drama club, whatever, band, tennis, football, whatever, and we'll determine that each year. But the benefit about this car show is we want the rest of the school district to bring in and be able to generate money on their own by setting up booths, selling water, food, burgers, crafts, whatever. And that organization, say if it's the choir, they keep all that money for the choir then. So it's not just one sport or just one thing. It gives a broad thing across the board for every organization. And all I need from Chad, what we need from you is just your location. It will not cost you 1 penny. I just need restrooms and electric, and the rest is done. Then I'll need it to, we get an approval on this, and the sooner the better, because usually it takes about a year to start doing this. We're looking to do it hopefully May 16th with a rain out date of May 30th. And the sooner we can get an approval, the sooner we can start getting fundraisers, donations, getting it out to the public, getting the car clubs involved, getting the teams that want to participate with the students still here. And like I said, that's all we need is just a location. Yeah. And you can see everything inside the booklet there, that it's just pretty black and white, that we can make some money. And it's not going to be tens of thousands of dollars, but it will be money to generate for the needs of the schools for uniforms. Like the tennis team needs benches, water coolers, they need a canopy over bleachers because the girls play in 95 and the parents come out and sit in 95 degrees for 3 to 4 hours. And there's no shelter or nothing for that. That's just one of the many needs, not just for the tennis team. And then the next year, it might go for cross country and so on. So
100% of the profits will go back to the school.
yeah, you won't be out a penny.
Right. We probably do anything from
Yeah, we're not making anything. We've got connections to help with, running this and helping fund this. And I'm sure you said earlier about the signage that there's a disconnect. Well, this is what we're trying to do. He owns a business, Queen City Inkslingers. It's down in the village, a printing company. There is a big disconnect from the village to the school. I think we all know this. For some reason, there's a big disconnect. What this is going to try to do is get the community together too. Because there's nothing down in the village that it seems like they want to participate with the school, unfortunately. That's the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. But with doing this, we're bringing people to the village to come up and see the school. And what the school has to offer with kids, organizations, and so on.
And we have your contact information. I'm sure Mr. Daniels will reach out to you.
Did my shirts.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
And
So-
we have 100% support from Coach Flam and the AD. They couldn't be here, of course, you guys know. And the only reason why we didn't wait on them is because we need to find out if we get approved, because the sooner the better, the sooner we can start to work. So we hope to give us a yes or no, or hope to hear from you soon.
Have you looked at the dates for?
I was just gonna say, that's the other thing that makes me nervous.
The Appalachian Festival now comes to the village, so that's
I
usually sometime.
only date we were worried about was when's prom.
Okay. Because you have Appalachian Fest, you got graduation. So we can help you figure some of those things out.
Okay.
That date is the only thing I can. And May's a busy month.
And if by chance we can't do it in May, maybe September, but we want school to be in session.
Yeah.
Because we want the players, the groups that organize, everybody to participate in this. So if we can't.
I know early in May too, Richmond hosts the track districts as well. So that's on a Saturday too, early, I think, second Saturday in May.
And if we can't do it in May, it gives us more time to promote it anyway, but in September, it would be a good one too.
I think honestly, that's really something that Trey just needs to fill out a fundraising form and really go from that perspective, really.
Well, facilities, right? Facilities got to get some.
Yeah, only thing we need is restrooms. It's sort of like what the crafts are doing up there.
Yeah.
Using that facility to generate money for the band, but we just need your grounds.
Yeah.
And once we get approved, we can see what we need, what part of the grounds. And of course, we want the road frontage because people drive by and see what's going on.
If I'm not mistaken, back in the late '90s, I worked with Sharon Stark, and we had a car show here for a fundraiser many years ago, almost 30.
The last one said 25 to 30 years ago. And from what I understand from Doug Foote and previous coaches and stuff, it was pretty successful. So I think it's a good way for us to generate some money for the school.
Okay, great.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We'll be in touch. Thanks for being patient.
Oh, no, thank you for allowing me extra time. I was like 3 minutes. I don't know if I can get it all in 3 minutes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Policy.
Tonight you have the second reading. We covered all of these policies pretty in good detail last month. So this will be the second reading where they will actually all be adopted and placed inside the policy manual.
It is recommended the Board of Education approve the following policies as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Wells, Mr. Wooten. Any discussion?
Mr. Daniels, was there any in there that stood out? I can't remember from last month. Do you want to read them all and open every single one?
No, most of these come out of, we have been, based on whoever is in the federal office, we've been changing our Title IX policies back and forth to match federal guidance.
That's right.
You will see that the Office of Civil Rights has been closed, that's nearest to us. So our options were Wyoming or Washington, D.C., so technically we've chosen Washington, D.C. There are some changes in definition of gender that go back to Title VII. Again, the district has to match federal guidelines. There is not much choice here. Cell phone policy is in here, cybersecurity, but most of this is technical and or related to Title IX or Title VII changes in gender based on federal guidelines. And there were a lot of policies that were tied to the state budget bill. They did a lot of legislating this year inside of the state budget bill, one of those being Parents' Bill of Rights, which we've notified all of our parents about.
Thank you.
All right, roll call.
Ms. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Wells? Yes. Mr. Wooten?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes. The second part of this, it is recommended the Board of Education rescind the following policies as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wells. Any discussion here? I think it pretty much covers the same thing, right? That's why we're replacing some and all that. Okay. All right, roll call.
Ms. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Wells? Yes. Mr. Wooten?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes. All right, human resource items.
All right, this evening we have for you acceptance of resignation, Matthew Waldman, classified October 24th, 2025. We have some we have some classified employees. Sarah Page, these are all replacements. So Sarah Page, second shift custodian Monroe due to a movement. Jacob Hedrick, again due to a resignation. And then Samantha Hilberg, again due to some movement of some internal promotions. I see we have a substitute classified employee, Nathan Marks, classified custodian. We do have a stipend because of the changes in some of our employment. James Hedrick will move to the district head maintenance stipend, and that is given $2 an hour. We will be bringing on some intervention tutors to support some students at the high school. This is part of the NRTO agreement, but these are looking at core subjects and helping students after school. If no one shows up to be in the tutoring, then no one gets paid. There is supplemental contracts for you this evening if you want to take a look at those. So on page 1, we have pay level 12. Remember how we talked about what our coaches make? It's here every month when we approve supplementals. So Eric Thompson for varsity football, Greg Miner, varsity wrestling boys, April Housebeck, varsity wrestling girls. Scrolling down to high school boys basketball, Alex Stevens and Nathan Fight. If you see a star next to their name, that means they're what we consider a lay employee. They're not actually like a teacher or a board employee. They are a community coach that has no other affiliation with the district. Liz Ensley, assistant girls basketball. Danny Shockley, assistant boys basketball. And then pay level 8, we have J.C. Callips, Ethan Rudd for middle school boys basketball. Will Lytle for middle school wrestling. Varsity bowling coach Rylan Shabasta. And varsity girls bowling coach Joel Gilpin. And then Mike Green, assistant coach middle school wrestling. Paige Bean for middle school cheer advisory for winter. And I believe we have site managers adding Andrew Tetrick. So you approved Andrew as a volunteer. Now he's going to be able to help with some site management. And then a former employee for volunteering, Darren Chingle. So those are the supplementals that you have tonight. So I'm noticing there may be, okay, it is 8A.
Okay, it is recommended the Board of Education approve items 8A through 8F.
Also move.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Wooten?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes. Treasurer's report.
I'm good. I stood enough earlier. Thank you. So for those of you that are here for the first time, thank you for coming. So I submit a pretty lengthy financial report that's on board docs, but this is just kind of a summary snapshot of the big takeaways there. So this is our fiscal year to date activity through October 31st. So again, July 1 through October 30. Go ahead, thank you. So our total expenditures are tracking relatively close, very close, 0.01% unfavorably. We're about $3,000 higher than the forecasted amount. And again, I like to just bring to light the monthly expenses plus that October forecast expense. I gotta train myself to say October now, so it's to November. So October, much lower than what we saw in September, just over 2.1 million for the month. And again, our October forecast expenditures are just over $27,756,000. So again, the tools that we use look at that 5-year history at a monthly level to see what the trends are for the district. The one thing to keep in mind as we're going to change some things of how we're doing things on the monthly level, which I'll talk about the federal grants again in a moment. That'll actually hopefully curb some of the general fund expenditure trends on the monthly basis as well, which I'll get into shortly. But again, just filed in October, so not much to change yet, but as the months go on and we see the financial activity, we'll be able to compare back and see how we're faring against the forecast. Revenues were up a little bit higher actually. We did have an advance out to food service, I believe in fiscal 24, that wasn't returned. So I did return that advance to the general fund of $60,000. So that was a amount not included in the forecast for October actually, but needless to say, still back to the general fund, it's where it belongs. I'm sorry, Miss Young. I actually asked her, is there a good time to do that? She said there's never a good time. So I just decided to do that now. So our October revenues, as you can see, I mean, this, for those of you who are kind of new to school finance, this is a typical month when you see expenditures outweighing revenues on a monthly basis. It's very rare that you're going to see a month where that is the opposite, other than the months that we get property tax settlement. So just to kind of give you a monthly snapshot of that. So we are, again, right on track with where we thought, with just a little bit of that nice advance in of the $60K. And again, our forecasted revenues are just over $24.8 million for the year. So our ending cash for the general fund only, again, of course, just over $8 million for the month. So just to give you some updates on what's going on business-wise and just processes. So again, as Mr. Daniels discussed, we've had some meetings with our ODU fiscal consultant to discuss our precautionary state, working through some inputs for their corrective plan, which is a really nice Excel workbook that I get to play with. So we are just in the baby phases of that. And we'll have 2 additional meetings with her prior to that submission date of 12/21. So that's the short term, working on that. I did meet just over 2 weeks ago with a company called SC Strategic Solutions. I gave you a little bit of info on the board update. They are primarily a document management company, but they tie in with the financial software that we use to really provide a game-changing efficiency increase that we will see once we implement that. I actually just got the proposal today, so I'll push that out to you. I'm going to have some time to review because I'd like to do a little bit of cost analysis versus our current systems just to show you. And we don't have to move forward with every single thing that they do. We can certainly break that out, but very excited to see what they can do for us. And as I mentioned in the board update, they can take all of the digital records that we have in our current system and move them over to theirs for free. So nice to bring the connections along with that versus they usually charge, like, I think, a penny per page for digital scanning services and about 10 cents per page for physical scanning. So that could have been a pretty hefty expense if we wanted to pay them to do that, but with just like a prior business connection with them, they're willing to do that for free, which is nice. And I'm going to just go through a few examples of what they can bring to the table with implementation in the following slides. So really excited to bring that to the table. My team's very excited too. They're going to have a lot of things streamlined for them. Some more in the weeds financials. I just submitted the reimbursement application for our OFCC grant project related to the health clinic and the job center project. They found no issues with anything. We had to submit all the invoices and reports just to show we actually spent all that. And we'll be receiving just over $709,000, hopefully this week or next, which will bring that negative fund balance to 0, and that's cash back in the bank, which will then go to investment. So really excited to see that work for us. And again, I believe I mentioned it in the board update, but just to show it here, the monthly activity changes, submitting what's called that first project cash request to receive reimbursement for our federal grant expenditures to date, and that was just over $198,000 for the month of October. So previously, I believe Those grants, you can let them run negative all year. There's no rule that says you have to request it back. They'll give it to you after you submit final report the following September, but you may not even see that till the following December. So for me, almost 200,000 in the short term is interest gained versus lost. We have just over $1 million in federal grants that, had we let run zero all the way till next December, that's a lot of lost interest. So that's just another thing that I think is going to kind of tweak the monthly cash flow trends as we look forward and compare to the forecast. But looking forward to see about $1 million hit the bank this month. So next, thank you. So these are just a few of the things that SC View, that's the SC Strategic Solutions, that's the actual product. They call them modules. But the ones I would really like to implement that I've used before, that again are just really going to make life easier in a lot of aspects here. But again, the records management and document retention is amazing. You can send anything out as an email with a few clicks of a button, and it also sends the sender a BCC version of it to ensure receipt that it went out to your recipient. Moving a lot of our just everyday accounts payable workflows into a much more streamlined system. And they also will do the check printing, so this would actually kind of reduce 2 separate vendors into one. And I know the check printing company we use, you have to renew licenses every year. I believe that's over $2,000 a year, and anytime you have a staff member signature change, it's an extra $250 per time that you do that with them. With SCV, you won't have to do that at all. You can change it as many times as you have staffing, so that's just part of the deal. So there's some money saved there. I know Becky Lewis in our receivables department is really excited about the accounts receivable workflows that they have. She's currently generating invoices from a Word document, have to number them and remember all this stuff. This does all the prefix numbering for you, emails out invoices to parties, and when we document those receipts, you can actually pull in that invoice, and again, no data entry anymore, just clicks of a button. So what would probably be a 25-minute process of just going into Word and typing an invoice and sending it out will take about 35 seconds. So looking very forward to implementing that. I know Mr. Daniels and I have talked about some human resources and onboarding that's still currently in paper. This will be electronic as well. Again, for the employee aspect, going from a 45-minute handwritten packet to maybe 10 minutes of typing, and they don't have to even come here. We can send it out via email and also send them the reminders. We can see the progress of where they are. They also make custom electronic forms, so any form we have in paper, we can electronicize it, build approval workflows. So again, not sending stuff to the mail and sign in, send in, scan. One thing I know I'm very excited for is sending out contracts electronically to staff and salary notices. They sign it digitally, returns digitally, appends to a personnel file, all electronically, and again, they get a signed copy sent to them once it's resubmitted as well. So no paper, no people moving over the summer not telling us, and contracts getting mailed back, just a game changer. When I first implemented this in my previous district, I sent 210 contracts and received over 65 in the first 30 minutes of that day. So it's quite huge. But I know Mr. Daniels is excited for the mileage and expense reimbursement tracking. They do all that for you. It talks with Google Maps. So that's just a small portion of what they do. But again, when you see just the efficiency that it brings, I would argue it pays for itself in that regard. The one thing I haven't used personally, which I'm excited for, is what they've launched is called their dashboard. So this reads our accounting system data in real time, and it looks way prettier than what the accounting system looks like. It can give us this quick kind of this high-level macro view of what I would want to see as a treasurer. But we can also pull in some custom data in there. They've got some new reports that, again, will even streamline what I'm doing, so I'm excited to play with that. If you go to the next one, Garth, we can actually customize this to any user that has access to the system. So like the principals, the billing secretaries, Mr. Daniels, anybody that essentially has a department level budget can see this dashboard and see what their balances are in real time and see their activity in real time. So if we had to make like a budgeting adjustment, it reads it in real time versus waiting on like a Monday report that gets emailed automatically or monthly or something like that. So a lot prettier, a lot more user friendly. And again, just for what I want to see as a treasurer, when we see requisitions coming through, I can actually see all the documentation to justify the request versus having to hunt it down. So again, that's going to make things just a lot faster, and this also makes audits go a lot more smoothly as well too. They can look at this stuff remotely and not even have to come on site. Our current stuff has that ability too, but you kind of have to jump through a bunch of different, we'll say, electronic loops to get to the end result. This kind of tracks everything from start to finish. So I'll send you out what that proposal looks like, because I kind of said, give me all the options, some of the options. So, but again, when you compare to what we're already paying and for what we're getting for what we're already paying, I'd say it's really a no-brainer. So just had the previous experience with it. So that's the big thing for me as far as the business side goes. Just some agenda items, just to give us the rundown. We've got the prior meetings minutes, the financial reports. I did find some few more cash accounts that are playing to the fund-to-fund transfers. The board policy actually says if there's no activity for over a year, those activity accounts can then be returned to the board. So figured why not do that. It's been sitting idle for a couple of years, and we can certainly use it in the general fund. So that's on the agenda for this evening. Did have two then and nows. I believe both of those were simply the amount of the invoice went over what the purchase order amount was, and I knew the food service one was really a very good indication of that. And I actually do want to follow up on some board policy regarding blanket purchase orders, just so we can authorize larger ones, especially for food service, or spending $100,000, $200,000 on food, being able to have a big purchase order open to not have these that it now slip through as a result of that would be huge. Current policy just says there's an amount determined by the board by a resolution. It's not an actual spelled out amount in policy, but we can follow up on that later. And then we just have one donation that came in, so nothing too crazy there. And then finally, I'd like to just kind of wrap it up with investment revenue analysis. So some differences this year. So the multi-bank securities, there was a CD in there last year that matured, so that's all cleared out. I think there's like $30 left in that account. It's like a checking account. We had to keep it open, but I plan on closing that. There's really no reason to carry $30 in some random account somewhere. But between our fifth, third money market and CDs, we've made just over $32,800 this fiscal year alone. Star Ohio is doing pretty well, and we actually do make a decent amount, albeit small, interest in just our local depository at River Hills. And what I like to do is just do kind of a year-over-year comparison. So I mean, we're already making about 30% of what we made last fiscal year alone. I'm thinking with submitting those project requests monthly, not losing the interest there, plus getting $700,000 back from LCC, my goal is to outpace last year by a long shot. So I'll give you the monthly comparisons as we move forward. So looking forward to that. I believe that's all I have there. Thank you, Garth.
All right, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve items 9A through 9E.
So moved. Sorry.
Okay, Ms. Story and then Mr. Wells.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Thanks for the thorough explanation.
Oh.
I mean, we're learning a lot more.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to wear the teacher hat still, so anytime.
All right, roll call.
Ms. Story?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Wooten?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes. You ready, Garth?
Oh, I was bored. Ready. Here we go.
So I just want to say before Garth gets up that one of the things that we heard on our listening tour was that there really is an absentia of mailers across this district, and while we are connecting with our parents through our systems that we have in place, we are missing quite a bit of our community. So I think what happens is, and we have to stiffen our back a little bit, is we get beat up when we do mailers. But everyone else is telling our story but us. And I'm going to give an example. It is not our job every day to disavow rumors out on the web. But the latest one is that we should sell all of our property. I want to be very clear. We own 2 pieces of property. One out here, probably never going to be developed, and one down in the village, the old bus garage. That's all we own. And there's some remediation issues with the one down in the village. The village would love for us to sell that property, but we cannot continue on a daily basis to disavow the story that's being told. So I think we have to do a better job of telling our story. We have to stiffen our back a little bit. We've got to find a way to get beat up when we send home a 2-page mailer, because it's gonna be in color, and it's gonna cost postage, but we have to tell our story, because everybody else is telling it for us, and they're leaving out the facts that are most important. So Garth's gonna talk a little bit about the survey that we're gonna launch about the earned income tax, which we are allowed by law from the auditor. We can't put out there what will you vote for, but we can do a post-mortem survey on why did we fail and fail so miserably. We do have 3 info sessions coming up that we need people to show up to, because if they don't, we're gonna make the choices that we think that are best. And then 3, talk about mailers and sponsorships. So if you wanna come up, Garth, or you wanna drive from
I'll drive it from here so I can actually read it.
Okay.
So we have 2 different survey options for you to take a look at tonight. The first one here is a little bit shorter than the second one, and it's a little bit less detailed, as you can see as I scroll through it. It starts with just a very basic demographic question of how are you related to the district? Do you work here? Do you have kids here? Did you have kids here? Or are you just in the village itself? There's a lot of different options. You can check as many of these as you want, because I'm sure some of these apply to several different people. The next one is, how well did you understand the levy and the details of it before you voted? It doesn't matter how you voted, just how well did you understand. The next one is, why did you vote the way you did? Again, we do not want to know how you voted, but what made the decision for you? What facts or information did you have that helped you decide which way you wanted to go? What information or communications from us would have helped more in the financial situation to understand it? Could we have sent more mailers, print materials? Could we have done more in-person meetings? How would you describe your overall trust and confidence in the way that we are currently managing our finances? High, moderate, low, or you don't know? What priorities do you think we should protect even during financial reductions? And how would you prefer that we communicate about future financial issues, including anything that we may discuss out in public? There's also one open-ended question at the end, like, what would you have to tell us? This last one here is very big. This is an anonymous survey. We are not collecting names or email addresses or anything like that. But if you do want to get on our mailing list, there is an option here for you to enter your email address. If you choose yes, it will take you to this section right here, and then click the link here. This link is a separate survey. It is not tied to either of the surveys here. If you click this, it will just open this. That's it. It's just another separate Google Form survey, so we have a list of email addresses, but they're not tied to any of the answers in the previous survey. So that's the first option. The second option is this one here. It's a little bit longer, but it starts the same way. How would you recommend your relationship with the district? Are you parents, senior citizen, long-term resident, something like that? And then it breaks off into different sections. So the first one is understanding and awareness. Like, did you understand the purpose and the details of the levy? On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your understanding of the district's financial outlook? Where do you get your information about the district's finances? You can check all of these, from the website to student communications, word of mouth, or you don't receive any at all. On a scale of 1 to 5, how clear have the district's communications been about the levy results? And then section 2 is, what information would you have used to help better inform yourself about the district's financial situation? This is another check one where you can vote as many as you want, including I did not vote in the levy. This one here could be a little bit confusing if you look at it. It doesn't look like this. If you look at the preview version of this, it's better formatted. You can actually see all of the words in the options. In addition, if we need to make additional reductions, rank the areas of importance. So with this line here, core classroom instruction, is that's most important to you, you would pick number 1. And then student safety and health, you could go number 2, extracurriculars 3, just on and on down the line to rank these in whatever order is your preferred option. And you do have to put them in order 1 through 6. There can't be any ties. Given building closures and redistricting in recent years, what statement best describes your view of the current facility structure? Meets the needs, additional consolidation, or we don't know, we'd like to learn more. How does the district provide access in the following areas? This is a star rating system. So 1 star is bad, 5 stars is good. Class sizes and staffing, transportation, special programs like arts, athletics, career prep, and college classes. Building safety, student support services like counseling, mental health. And then there's a trust, communication, and planning section. How would you describe your overall trust and confidence in the district's financial management? How strongly you would agree or disagree with the following statements. I understand how revenue losses impact things. The district has communicated clearly. Questions like that. All of this will be rebranded. Like, we're not going to set it up purple or put the district logos in there and things like that. But these are the important questions that we want to have answers. There's also at the end of this an open feedback section, 4 questions with, this is the long paragraph section. I don't think there's a word limit on this. And then at the bottom of this one is the same question as the first one, where you can add your email address, and it'll go to that same form that I showed earlier, tied completely separately. They're not going to keep the email addresses in with the answers, so we don't want to identify anybody for this survey. Any questions?
Does the board have a preference between 1 or 2? We want it to be able to guide our decision making between now and whatever the board decides to do in terms of generating future revenue for the district. Because I want to be clear, we are making cuts, but we still need to generate revenue. All we're doing is, it's a terrible analogy, but it's what we live with in this world, is we're just kicking the can down the road. And so we need to know, it's really hard to read the tea leaves about what people want, because you as a board had shared in many of the earned income tax community meetings that you were gravitating towards what you heard feedback-wise last time when you ran the 2020 campaign. Well, the results reflect something very different than the sentiments that were reflected to you in 2020. We're looking to find a path forward for revenue.
Well, the caveat on that I would say is, economically speaking, our district is in a very different place. And I'm not talking about the school, I'm talking about the community. So I wouldn't say that we didn't hear it right. I question whether any levy under any circumstance would pass given current conditions for families. And it's not a judgment, it's just an is. My preference would be the second one. I think there's more information there. I'm a little concerned about open-ended questions that allow somebody to state something that is, 1, difficult to code and sort, and to provide a lot of narrative on something that may be completely unrelated to the information we're seeking.
I mean, I think they're both great. I think the second one, though, is a little long for, just say, take my parents, for example. If they would get that, my dad would probably quit after question 5. But, I mean, they're both great surveys. I think a lot of those questions in that second survey, if we go back in time in 2020, those were a lot of questions that we had right here in this room. Well, this room was much bigger then, correct? When Elevar ran that for us, but those questions we would break, we would have 40, 50 people show up for those meetings knowing that we're going to have to make those cuts. And those were small groups. We had chart paper. We listed a lot of those things, what the priorities were, what were the low-hanging fruit that we could cut. But, I mean, they're both great. I just worry that the second one is a little long for some of our folks to fill out. But I think those questions are spot on. Those are the questions that we need to be asking during our community engagement meetings. But that's just me. Either one's great, but I think the second one's just a little bit long. It is a little bit more in depth. It would give those people the opportunity that would not come to a community engagement meeting, but I think you may lose some, and they'll just say, I'm not filling this out. First one, I think they would, but the second one, it may be a little bit too long. Plus the open-end questions.
I think option 1 would probably be the way to go for the community, but I think option 2 has to be what we give. We might give it to them at the meetings, because those people are engaged. Those are the ones we want to hear that have students and all that in the buildings. Like what's their ranking from 1 to 7 or 8? I think that's what we got to get from those meetings. So that's my 2 cents, because the reality is, anytime you're lucky to get 20-30% response rate, right? That's if you get it. So I think option 1. I really like option 2 though. I would fill out option 2.
That's a nice hybrid. I mean, if we can
I agree.
send out 1 and follow up with 2, because I also don't want to promise
anything. Is this for our family, or is this for the whole community?
It's for the whole community, because remember, and I just for the people out there, not the people in this room, but we can't pass something just on feedback from our parents. There's of the registered voters in this community of the 63 square miles, we have people who don't send children to our schools. We have people who are retired. We have alumni. I mean, we've got business owners and the impact on them. So we're looking to capture. The reason that first question is written the way it is we're trying to see who values what. In terms of, I'm a business owner and this is what I value. I'm a retiree on a fixed income and this is what I value. I have 2 children in the school district and this is what I value. And you try to extrapolate that out a little bit based on what do our employees value, who both live in the district and don't live in the district. So we're trying to coalesce some ideas, and it's really not it's illegal to ask, but it's really talking about how did we do, how is our education, how are we communicating, and to Mrs. Story's point, there are things that are beyond our control. But I think I shared with the board about 66% of all ballot initiatives that were school-related passed, higher percentages for those that were renewals versus those that were new.
Yeah.
There was higher percentages for a renewal than there was new. And there were local initiatives inside of this county, inside of our townships, that didn't pass as well. I think Ohio Township and maybe Central Joint Fire are two.
Children's services.
And children's services.
I mean, that's huge.
So I think, what can't be lost is there's no way to cut ourselves out of this. The revenue falls to 23 million. And I'm going to keep saying it until people understand it. We used to get 46% of our revenue from our individual property owners. We are now at 86. 86% of what we generate off of those levies comes from individual property owners. We do not have the infrastructure. We don't have it. And, so the 2 binary choices are some type of an income tax or a property tax. Those are the only vehicles that we have to generate revenue.
Well, to that end, I do think your question 1 needs to specifically call out, I'm a homeowner. Because you've got, I'm a farm owner and I'm a new resident, which doesn't really say that I own anything. And what I heard was, I know that to keep my property value, we have to have quality schools. I don't want to pay for it, but I recognize that as a homeowner, so I would add that one to number 1.
If we do lean towards survey 2, which I'm perfectly fine with either one, we appreciate the work that went into it. But I think if you would not make, and if it's going to skew the data, but if you don't make them required questions, people may, that's just me thinking, being an educator, if you don't make it a required question, I think they may take the time to answer the questions that they feel comfortable answering. That's just my 2 cents.
So I'm just paraphrasing. Don't make them all required. Is that what you're saying?
It's a little longer, I think.
I think we should go with option 1. I would say to you, based on your preferences, maybe we pull 1 or 2 of the questions in from option 2, like the ranking. I might pull that. I would suggest to pull that one in, and maybe another, because I think that will give us some concrete data for people that don't show up. And then we can we could use some of the questions in survey 2 to guide some small groups. Brett and I do not plan to talk at people for an hour. We plan on just summarizing for about 5 to 7 minutes. I've asked the team to come to each of the 3 to run a small group and then report out. We are not going to talk at people. We want people to sit and talk, because one of the things that we've been saying, or I should say I've been saying to our team, is we're really close to this, and I'm not sure we're starting to go like this, and we've got to widen out a little bit. The struggle is we've got till December 21st. There is no extension. There's not. You've got to just cram all this into a season where people want to be with their families. It's the holiday season. It's upon us. And we're going to give 3 options. Come where you can. 3 sites, 6:30 at night. If you're going to invest the time and energy, we don't want to be there more than an hour, 15 minutes.
But I do think that I want the open-ended questions, because let them get it all out there. Let everybody get it all out there. Tell us everything, so we know what we're facing. I mean, that's the way I look at it. You can keep that as a separate part of the survey, I'm sure. But I think the open-ended questions, put them out there. If they can type a Facebook post, they can type an answer to a question.
I'm okay with open-ended too. I have no opposition.
I
It's
think
just
you
from
can't
a
have-
data analysis
Yeah.
perspective, I will tell you that is very
I don't think you
difficult.
can do 7 of them like are in option 2. I think you've got to do 1 or 2 targeted. So my suggestion would be to marry these 2. I like the rank order. Pull 2 out that are going to give us concrete data, vomit out your feelings, and then we have to move forward. Because tomorrow, after the survey is done, we're still in the same place we were today, facing a budget deficit. You know, and we can nickel and dime this thing, like I showed you with pay to play. But 74% of our budget is people, and the fastest way to get to the 2.2 or whatever that's in 2.3, thank you, that's in 2028 is people. They're 74% of what we do.
Maybe it's the first 2 open. I mean, you've at least directed them
Yes.
to respond. The 3 and 4 are just like all
Okay.
open the gates.
So we have a coalescing of ideas.
So can I ask a process question? So are you saying we're gonna send a mailer via US Postal? And it's going to have something that's going to take them to a survey, or are we emailing the survey? What's the process?
Well, again, because of the timeline, our first priority is to try to get the postcard in everybody's hand. You want to pull that up, Garth? And the postcard really is the date and time. We could put the survey on there, you know.
QR code? Most people know how to use it.
Well, I would do a bit.ly because we know that some of our more seasoned elderly folks in our community would rather punch in a bit.ly than scan a QR code. And I speak for myself at 45. I can't do a QR code half the time. It won't pop up. So I think you have to do a bit.ly.
Okay.
Or drive them to our website. And Garth, you could do the same thing again. Make it be the first thing you choose to do on our website or dismiss it. Like you did.
Can you show us, is there more to this? No, okay.
That's the front.
Okay.
The white spot in the top right corner is, I don't know how to format this for printing, so I left some space for the recipient's address and the stamp. We are actually working with a community member to print this. Somebody reached out to me when I posted in Friends of New Richmond. They own a print shop in Kentucky that can print these. And they have got me in contact with someone in Beachmont who can handle the mailing side of it. So we are working through those 2 things. I think I had an email from them pop through while we were sitting here. I believe he told me that there are about 5,500 addresses in the zip code that this would be sent to. So we are working on getting quotes and figuring that out. But we've got the ball rolling on sending this.
I want to say something about mailing routes. There will be people that do not live in our community get this postcard because mailing routes cross boundaries. It's not because we're wasting money. It's because it just goes to the mailing route. So there may be people in Bethel that get this, Tate schools, and there may be people in West Claremont because it's by mailing route. We can't just dump all of our, we don't even have a vehicle to dump all of our addresses. So when I say a strong back, we have to have a strong back because we're going to get beat up a little bit. But this is the only way we know to capture everybody's voice.
And are we permitted to distribute this at least to parents in addition to the mailing via distribution?
Yes, because we're not doing any, this is informational, we're not campaigning.
Okay, so we could email it
Yeah,
to
we could
everybody with an email address. We could put it in a take-home.
Yeah, we definitely, we have everybody in rooms, we have, but what we're trying to do is trying to get the people that aren't in our ecosystem.
Understood.
Because they feel like they're the voices that we're not
I
hearing.
believe last time we had, for 21 flyers, local businesses allowed us to put a stack out in different places.
Well, we're trying to find a way on our mailers to spread the cost. We have 6 or 7 businesses that want to sell us, like we would, not sell sponsorships in terms of, but we would, so if there are 5 people and there are 5 spots on there, we could defer the cost 6 ways. So we would have equal share. If there are 3 sponsors, then it's split 4 ways with us. You know, if there's a way for somebody even to put a coupon, like come into our establishment and you can get $1 off the sandwich. Like, we're trying to defray the cost to be, you know, to find ways to both drive people to our businesses and to be budget conscious about doing this work.
And all the costs will just be printing and mailing. I'll be doing the design in those.
And we'll still do social media for these dates because
Yes.
it's coming too fast.
Yes.
There's no way, I mean, unless you want us to push on the other side of, we can push Monroe on the other side of Thanksgiving, but the problem is we have a work session the week of, in between, I think we're the 8th and the 15th next month. You know, we want to bring, the 8th, we want to have some preliminary ideas for you. We'll go back out to Locust Corner on the 9th, see what else we have. And then on the 15th, we have to present to you the workbook and what we're committing to. And we can't really deviate from what we're committing to. You know, we've got to get the negative 2.3 in 2028 erased. That's what the state's telling us. So we'll have the survey, we'll have this mailer, and then we will, at the beginning of the year, begin looking at full page, front and back mailers to go out. I think one of the things that we need to commit to once we do that is, you know, when we get to our budget reductions, talk about what we worked really hard collectively with our community as a board, as administration, to preserve, but what is beyond that? And we can't just engage people when we need votes. We've got to engage them more frequently in our processes and what we do. Because even though we're going through a time of budget restraints, there are ways to add programs or add opportunities that cost us $0 through grant, through partnerships with College Credit Plus. There's ways to continue to grow, but it will be hard for people to grasp when we say we're doing these things, but we're also contracting. But we can do both simultaneously. So, but we can't let everyone else tell our story. Because our world is very complex, especially how funding works. It's not set up for the average person to understand. We look at it all day, every day, and we're continuing to lobby. We lobby our congressmen 2 ways. I think we need to make sure that things that happen from the federal level, like better supporting IDEA, some of our costs are getting higher, and what we're receiving to educate children who have greater needs, we are happy to have them, but we're not getting what we should. The state's messing with their part of it, so we lobby both the federal government, we lobby our local legislators. So when we're trying to think outside the box, but everybody else is telling that story but us. And I think we just have to stiffen up and get beat up when a nice mailer goes out. I'm not talking about a 7-page mailer. I'm talking about an 8.5 by 11, 4 quadrants, and that's what we're thinking.
I did actually just get a quote for the mailing as we sit here. So,
all right. Anything else for Garth?
I think we took care of the board discussion too, right? Do you have something else?
No, I mean, it's any assignments that you may have for us, or we packed a lot into an hour and 28 minutes. Kids, first and foremost, are the heart of what we do. We had some pay-to-play discussions. We had discipline. We had talked a lot about, you know, finances and our comms plan. So,
Brett, are you able? I know we've asked, and I know you guys are doing a great job, but can you get us a breakdown in regards to what rentals are you working on? I can give you some stuff right now. I know you've been busy, but I think that's one thing we've asked in regards to, you know, rental wise, what we get for the softball, baseball field, and for renting out the stadium.
Second one again, real quick. I actually just talked to Becky about this today. Just making sure everything's going to the right place. So as I've gotten more familiar too, it looks like they did set up that one fund for the field maintenance for like the rentals for athletics related things, so we're gonna look and see what's in there right now. This is multi-factor authentication.
And it's no big deal. I mean, you can bring it next week. Yeah, don't stress,
Oh, no,
don't stress over
give
it.
me 13 more seconds, it'll be right.
You got 2. 1.
So what I hear you saying is you don't have
any assignments for me.
I think you completed your assignments this week.
Yes.
I think we just gotta continue to do what we did today for the recognition. We need more of it. We need to get all the classroom. How can we get the story of what our kids are doing in the classroom and how to, we're making those right steps. Let's continue to showcase that. We have awesome kids in the school district. That's what we're all fighting for up here.
So for the outdoor facilities, so that's in that 300 fund. So far to date, fiscal year to date, I should say, we're at $12,897.50. And then we've gotten 2 checks from the health clinic, and that's $5,834 thus far. And I believe Becky actually just got some checks for some general rentals today.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Along with a few others. So those haven't been booked yet, but that's a snapshot of where we're at for right now. But that's
Build that report and I can make it email you every day. You just tell me how to make it stop.
Just compared to the last 3-4 years.
So
if you're able to go back and
I can do it right now. So last year the facilities outdoor fund that pulled in $30,523. So we're already just under halfway there, and we're in early November. So that could be a good thing.
So is that something that we need to talk to as well in regards to, do we need to increase our facility fee?
I thought about it. I actually, right before I got over here, I got comps from 10 districts for all their facilities rental, just their whole package. What do you require? What is your cost? So yeah, that's definitely something I want to look into. And again, just meet the status quo, because if we're not up to par with what everybody else charges, because again, you've got the custodial fees, the overtime we're paying for that, etc. So I think that's something to look into. I'll share you my Google Sheets list of all the stuff I want to do. I'm up to 120 rows right now. We're getting there.
And I think to provide some visibility to that we do rent our facilities, we do maintain our facilities based in part on those rentals. I think there's some misinformation out there that A, we don't collect it, and B, all facilities should be publicly available. Well, if you make them publicly available, that means upkeep beyond payment.
Yeah, so I mean, we gotta have the insurance requirements met, etc. too. But I think we actually were backbilling some entities. Like I said, I believe the softball or baseball tournament from last year, about 30,000 outstanding that they owe us. So we're knocking on virtual doors, so to speak.
Okay.
And I'm just going to recommend, once we get to a certain point in time, like they just won't be allowed back in until they pay. And if we have to cut our losses, it is what it is. But there's no reason you should get to come back if you don't pay it.
And I think at one time, it was before your time, and maybe before Jonathan and Amy, but I think we at one time said that they had to put like a 50% deposit down of some sorts.
We could, and I think for something that big, like a tournament,
Did we talk
maybe.
about that though? Yeah.
Not contractually.
I thought we talked about something like that.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, we could also look at like a
talked
threshold
about
too, like if this is like a full weekend rental that's gonna yield, $20K or something, like, I would say that would be more feasible. But too, the invoicing piece of it too, that'll be so much faster with what we're gonna be rocking with now too, if we can email it. I know I'm gonna look into getting credit cards as a form of payment for that too.
I mean, it costs money, obviously, on the back end, but you can generate pretty quickly.
Yeah, there might be ways to offset those fees or just pass them on to the renting party too.
I think the bigger question was where the money was going once they paid.
Yeah, so anything related to athletics, facilities rentals is going into that separate outdoor facilities fund, because I know the big thing was for like turf maintenance, whatever else we need, and anything else that's general rentals, like if someone rented the high school auditorium or something, that would just be a general fund revenue stream there. But we can break it out as far as we want. I actually broke into a separate account just to track the sense of children, at least, just so we know that we collected what we need to collect. Otherwise, if you roll it all up, you have to run a bajillion reports to find it. So just got that built. but yeah.
So we are having a separate facilities committee meeting in December for two reasons. One, we have to decide what capitally is important, and so we want to make sure, a boiler is a boiler and it has to be replaced. You have to forecast for those expenses, but also I think a key part of that committee is to look at our facility rentals. Again, we're not trying to get rich, but we're trying to be competitive, and turf is, people pay premium for turf. And so, our goal is to build up those accounts so when it's time to replace the turf, it should be as close to zero because of the rentals as we can possibly make it.
One thing I just thought of, do you know, this is kind of out of left field, but have we ever had like an alumni track meet of sorts or anything like that before? Sounds really weird. So my previous district, we did it and it was insanely popular. Like, I guess it's a really big thing. And there was one, I guess there's a national one in DC that we did it on the same weekend. They didn't realize it. So the 80th through this district was like, I got like 50 calls saying they wish they would have knew or moved it to a different weekend. So I didn't follow up with Trey about that, but I thought that was, I had the same
I mean, we don't do
what?
alumni anything in terms of
I think the
athletics.
cross country.
Turkey Bowl.
Oh, yes.
Cross
Yeah,
country
they
is
do.
the only
It's
one
not-
that
yeah,
does,
it's not here anymore.
No, it's here. Oh.
right?
Then when those
Because
are-
they do a scholarship run.
Yeah.
But that's by the team, right?
Knows
It's
about it
not
now.
field, right?
What do I know about now?
Start charging.
Oh, yeah, for the, well, yeah.
Turkey Bowl. No one knows
Yeah.
about that.
It's on
It just kind of hit
Thanksgiving.
me. I had the same reaction. I was like, alumni track meets what? And yeah,
I guess there's a real big national one where people go do something.
For the community, just so everybody understands, in case you didn't get the public notice there, the facilities committee meeting is on December 11th at 4 p.m. So if you want to come to that meeting, you're welcome as well.
should be riveting.
It will be. Anything else?
One more question, Mr. Daniels.
Oh, almost got out, but.
How's the health clinic coming? How's the numbers? Do we have any numbers?
I'll have to ask. I'll have to ask. I can get you some usage. We have been requiring all the principals to put it in their newsletters.
Okay.
So definitely know it's in Monroe's and Locust Corner, and then Garth we'll be launching a required Friday electronic newsletter at the middle school and the high school. And we hear from our parents all the time that the daily email blast or daily update it's a scrolling long document. It's not good for parents. So we will be doing a Friday email. So if you got kids in 3 buildings, you can get 3 emails. But it should be at the bottom of everyone's. But we'll get you numbers.
It already is at the bottom of the middle school one. I've made that 10th one already. It'll be at the high school, but I'm making that one tomorrow.
Thanks, Garth.
Awesome. All right. Any motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
Wow. You let her get that
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second since she stole the motion.
Roll call.
Miss Story.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Mr. Lucan, yes. Mr. Zimmerman, yes.
What are you gonna do next year when I?
Did you get the time?
7:37.